Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome
everyone.
in. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We've got a special guest with us tonight. Before we do that, shout out to Jason, Claiming Comics, who said he pre-ordered Osaka Mime on the FOC show that Andy was on with us. So that's awesome. And shout out to Hip Hops and Me and Sith Lordly hanging out with us. So tonight we have Andy Leavy, the writer of Osaka Mime, which is a graphic novel coming out this Wednesday from Behemoth Comics. And this graphic novel sold out at the distributor level 2 months ago. So get excited for this release.
Once you copies if you can.
Exactly. Try to hit up your store and see if they have those available still. So give it up for Andy.
Hi, how's it going?
Welcome.
Welcome in.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Glad to have you.
Trying to, we wanted to set this up for right before the book came out. After you hopped on the FOC show with me.
Mm-hmm.
Guess that was a while ago now. Seems like it was not that long ago, but it was before it sold out. So
yeah,
it was
wild.
It was still in preview catalog, so it was in March. Yeah. Would have been in March, I think.
That's wow.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like it was just yesterday.
It does feel not too long ago. Yeah, it was spontaneous enough. I was just watching the show.
Yeah, I still remember that because you were just like, I heard my name and I figured I'd say hi.
It's like, that's me. I feel like it'd be weird, like if you were watching and someone said your name and you were like, just stay quiet.
It shockingly tends to happen a lot where we'll mention someone and then they just pop in and it's like, oh yeah, here in the comments.
It's pretty handy.
What are you doing?
Yeah. It seems like 9 times out of 10 it's someone from Behemoth Comics that's just like lurking in the chat.
Yeah,
like Nathan or Kevin just hanging in there somewhere.
Damien
getting themselves get some free marketing.
Yep.
So let's start out by having you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, how you got into comics, and I guess how you got into writing this comic.
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Ireland. I don't know if that's relevant, but there you go. I didn't actually read comics a lot because I come from a really small town in Ireland, and Ireland's a small country, so you can imagine how small a small town is. So we didn't have any comic book stores around, but I watched Batman Beyond and all the X-Men shows and stuff like that. So I was obsessed with superheroes. And then once I was able to kind of go to comic book stores in Dublin or grab comics online, I really started to get into comics more. And I always wanted to be a writer. And I just decided that I'd try my hand at comic books because I just liked the way they kind of were written. I had read some scripts online and stuff and thought, I'd give this a go. And I just got the idea. I was actually working on something else at the time, which is just kind of sitting in my Google Drives. But I got the idea for Osaka Mime, and I kind of played around with it in my head. And then a script competition came up where you wrote 8 pages. So the first 8 pages, if you actually just read the first 8 pages and don't read the rest of it, it does work as a short story. So that's kind of what that was done as, and then it kind of got fleshed out into a full thing.
That's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was 2017, I think. That was when I was in college. So it's been a while.
Yeah, I can kind of see how the first 8 pages kind of wraps up a little bit.
Yeah, it wraps up kind of so that was tough. When I sat down to continue writing the script, the first 4 pages after that, I really was I knew what I wanted to do with them, but it was hard to get back into the groove because I just flew through those 8 pages initially.
Nice.
So thankfully I didn't win that competition because the winner would have had their book published, and it just would have been published online by some webcomic or something.
Oh man, this ended up a lot better, I think.
Yeah,
thank God.
So how did you end up getting with Behemoth, finishing the story and getting it produced by them?
Yeah, so I did the competition, and it was 5 you just had to write a script. You didn't. That's the only reason I did it, because you didn't have to have an artist. And they were like the top 5 people would get picked, and then this comic book company, I think they were in Indonesia, or I believe they were in Indonesia. They were called Irrational Comics, and they would have an in-house artist draw the 5 comics, and then people would have to like vote on them. Then the winner would get their story published. And then they liked my story anyway, even though it came third. And this is actually crazy. I couldn't actually believe this when I was thinking about it the other day, that they were like, "Oh, we'll publish your book as well. We'll like buy the idea off you," and they were going to buy it off me for like $600. And I was gonna say yes at the time, because I was in college. I had like no money. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, plus I just really wanted it to be. I just really like, I couldn't believe that like the first thing I ever worked on could have been published. So I was just going to say yes to anything. But then I had to do college. I didn't have time to work on it, and then eventually they couldn't really fund it. So he just said it himself. Like I can't remember his name, but he was very nice to me. He was like, you should continue this story. So then I just I wrote the rest of the script in my free time. Once the script was ready, I looked for an artist and found Hugo, thankfully, through Facebook of all places. So Facebook is usually a terrible place, but it's put me together with Hugo, so that was good. And he redrew the first 8 pages, and then I was on Twitter, and I was just following like every like comic book account I could find, because people were always tweeting about stuff, and I came across Behemoth, and I was like, they'd look like they'd like this. So I had like pitched it to a few places, and then I came across Behemoth, and I was like, I'll send it to these guys. And I didn't actually know they were new enough at the time. Like I thought they had been around a while as well. So it just got really lucky that they kind of were just starting out themselves, and they basically had the time, like they were checking every submission that came through immediately. So they got back in contact with me pretty quickly.
So you had the whole thing finished when you were like pitching it to people, yeah?
I just had 8 pages finished. Yeah, okay. I just had 8 pages. I had the whole thing written. It was completely written, and it didn't really need. But we only had 8 pages drawn, because we actually had to do a Kickstarter to get the funds to pay Hugo. Yeah,
nice.
So that was long ago as well. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, we got the Kickstarter made. Again, at the time, it was just pure luck that Behemoth were like not that they weren't as busy back then, so they could they helped me. They did the Kickstarter themselves. Like they ran it, like, and they're so like,
that's really
they're
awesome.
So busy now. There's absolutely no chance they could do anything like that now. But I got so lucky, because I was panicking, because I like was just so nervous about running a Kickstarter. I didn't have a clue how to do it, so they just took it off my hands, and really, really grateful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it got funded, and then once we had the money, I just left it with Hugo, and he could just work away on it, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
So has that been? Go ahead.
Nope, you go.
Has that been in the last year or so that all that rest of that took place? Because I know they started kind of at the start of the pandemic.
Yeah, it was like 2019. I pitched it in 2019, I think. I remember
starting to get things off the ground.
When they were just really, they had a few books out at the time, but they were just getting started. 2019, and then the Kickstarter was in the start of 2020.
Okay.
It was actually before even the pandemic had like really happened, because I remember I was in New York when it was kind of running. And it's just finished, and then Hugo was able to kind of work on it from, I would say, like April to, I think it was April to like October or November, I think, is when it finished up. And we were able to get it in pretty much immediately into previews. So, yeah,
that's fantastic.
Great. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Did you find it difficult, writing to publish and produce a book for an American market, like being in Ireland and having to work kind of over?
I think so.
It was with your artist.
Yeah, I think so. It was more like I was really scared, because like every time I looked at like Irish comic creators, most of them were artists, like except for there's like Garth Ennis.
Yeah.
And obviously there's like Declan Shalvey and them they write now, but they got in as artists, and I was like, is that how you get in? Like, can you actually make it as a writer. But yeah, everything just kind of fell into place. Like there was like, it's just luck really involved. But I knew I could write a story for an American market because we consume so much American media over here. Like, but I could put my own little twist on it. Working with Hugo, yeah, like we don't like, we've never met each other face to face. Like, obviously I'd like to sometime, but we never have. Like, we've just texted each other. It's just been over text, but it just worked well. We just work well together. I think he just kind of understood my script really well, and he's just insanely talented. Like, and every time I was like, I had an idea for how this was going to look, and then he'd come back with the page, and it was always just so much better than what I had envisioned. Like, so like, never really had to like worry about stuff. He would just text me, and he was like, "Can we do this?" Or is there like a rule? Like, he just wanted to make sure if he was going to change something, like, is this okay to change and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty handy. Like, he's a very easy person to work with.
It's great because the art in it is fantastic. He did.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Like, absolutely blows my mind because, like, obviously I put up a post on this Facebook group asking for artists. So many people are crazy looking for work. Like, so you get an insane amount of emails, and I just had to go through all these emails and just make an Excel of people whose art like immediately stood out to me. And like, Hugo's was just, I couldn't believe that I got so lucky that this guy has like not really been published before or anything. I was like, just shows that there's just so many talented people out there that are just kind of not really getting seen until whatever.
Yeah, and I would say that's from when we talked with Nathan. That's kind of Behemoth's thing, is finding people that are very talented and not getting seen, but getting their names out there.
Yeah, that's a
lot of foreign people as well.
Yeah, they bring in like people who have made a name in their own country, but maybe haven't found a way into America or whatever, and that's great as well. Like, that's a brilliant mission statement to have. Yeah, to like stick with, to really want to help, like, because the books they put out are great. Like, so it shows that like, you don't have to have a big name to write a good story, and every big name was a small name before. Yeah,
everyone has a first story.
Yeah, and I understand why
they published.
I understand why publishers don't want to take a risk on someone who's never been published before. Like, it makes complete sense, but you do have to take those risks, because how are these people going to get published if you're not going to give them a chance? Yeah. So, it's great. Like, Behemoth put so much trust, and I think you see that like even in the creators that work kind of with Behemoth. It's like like they really enjoy just working with Behemoth. Like,
everyone we've interviewed that has worked with them, it's just like, it's amazing the freedom and like the ability you have to just write your own story and like tell what you want.
Yeah, it's great, and the two guys are insanely easy to get on with as well. They're really friendly people.
The previous pages, definitely page 1, I'd say.
Yeah.
Start that off with what's happening.
Why don't you, for those of the people who don't know, give a little quick summary, in your own words, what the book's about? Yeah,
sure. I'm no good at this, but I'll give it a go. So
you wrote it.
It's a horror story based in like a modern fantasy world. I got really unlucky because I actually wrote it before Bright came out, but then everyone's like, "Oh, it's like Bright," because like, but it was actually based off like Shadowrun, like the there's like a D&D spin-off where it's like modern day like elves and
that's a video game, right?
I think it's a video game as well. It's kind of like D&D, but like modern day. So it's got like all types of spin-offs and stuff. It's just my friend who mentioned it to me. He was like, "This is really cool. You should look into this." So yeah, it's a modern fantasy world. There's elves, orcs, goblins, all types of people, and there's also the monsters. And there's this story follows a mime, which if it kills you and it eats you, it can take your form. So the story follows two detectives from the supernatural police department of Osaka as they try to hunt this mime, who can continue, like, if he knows they're following him, he can just kill someone else and take their form. They can never really know who the mime is until like essentially the last minute. Or it's shown that one of the detectives is pretty good at like working them out because he's kind of a grizzled veteran type. But even at the end, like it's almost like you almost have to get lucky to working them out in a way. So that's it in a small sense. It's essentially kind of it's buddy cop kind of tropes of the grizzled vet and the new guy, but I think it puts its own little twist on it, put it in a kind of a horror setting and in the kind of fantasy setting as well. I'm just really happy with how it came together, and just the mime has just worked out really well. It's just I've always liked shapeshifters because they just allow you to be really creative. Like they can make weapons out of their arms and stuff like that.
I'm really curious because this is like the first time that I've ever heard of like the mime being this like villain or like supernatural creature. Like I've watched Supernatural, I've seen some spooky stuff, but like is this like, did you come up with this? Like that's so cool.
When I was in college, I got like it's based in Japan because it's heavily inspired by like Japanese like folklore and just Japanese movies and stuff like that. Yanada is based off Kakihara from Ishi the Killer, who's actually a villain in that, but he's kind of like his look. He's supposed to look like him, and he's supposed to kind of act like him a bit. But I'd actually finished up Tokyo Ghoul, and I really liked the concept of like these, of the way these like essentially these humans that aren't humans that have to eat humans. I really liked that kind of concept, but I kind of wanted to make it more like monster, like. What I thought when someone told me what Tokyo Ghoul was, I kind of wanted to make a monster. What I thought Tokyo Ghoul was going to be, like Tokyo Ghoul was kind of about these humans that just have to do this to survive. There's not it's not their fault that they have to eat humans, but I wanted to be like a monster that can just eat humans. It was just on a bus trip home from college, and I was just kind of thinking about it, and it made sense that if you ate someone, you could turn into them. So that's how it kind of became a shapeshifter.
Yeah, I saw there was one very specific scene where he eats a piece of the brain, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's just so perfect.
Yeah, no, I wanted to make like a shapeshifting monster, so it all just kind of came together kind of well that if you eat someone, it would make sense that a shapeshifter could turn into you. And then the shapeshifters let you they can be really creative, they can make like creative weapons out of their limbs, and they can be really dangerous.
And the rules
the kind of shadowy figure.
Cool too.
Sorry?
The rules that you came up with, they can change into you, but like once they change after becoming you, they have to
they can't come back.
New person.
Yeah, I wanted to put like some rules on them, but I didn't want it to be like over explained, because I think that's like an issue where like if you over explain a monster, it's like not really that scary anymore, is it? Like I've always thought I have ideas like on how like the mimes survive and how they like breed and how they continue to multiply, but like if I just sat down and put a scene where someone explains that, it's kind of boring. So I'd rather just like give them rules that they have to stick to, but just let them kind of go a bit wilder than that. Like,
I love it. I think it's quality villain.
Yeah. And seeing all of those things like from the start of what it could do is just like I said,
I thought you needed to you needed to set it like immediately. I actually love like on the second page where the mime is eating the guy, and he's like he's on a weird way. He's on like all fours in a weird way. I actually, if like the original art for the competition that I did, it's online somewhere. I'll try to find it. But like in that, he's just on his knee. The mime's just on their knees, just eating. It was actually Hugo that was like, it should be like up like on its limbs, like a freakish like monster, like to let you know that it's immediately a monster. Like,
nice. Yeah, it definitely sets the scene of what we're dealing with and what they're gonna have to face trying to bring it down.
Yeah, like I want it to be like just show it to be like
you set that theory pretty immediately.
Thanks.
Very well.
Yeah, I wanted to be shown to be kind of really intelligent, just cunning the way that it turns into the girl's boyfriend and just tricks her immediately.
Yeah.
And
like well enough that she doesn't notice.
Yeah, just straight away, like she has no idea. Like, I really wanted to do something like that, and then I knew that the next scene you needed to have the kind of protagonist show that they know like what mime is, so that he like shoots the mime in the head like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of needed to know that like the mime is going to be really threatening, but the person it's coming up against also is going to be like ridiculously threatening as well.
Yeah, he's not messing around.
Yeah,
He knows what he's
To
doing.
put it lightly.
yeah,
Yeah, we've got a whole world though of all kinds of these creatures, not just the mimes, but we've got
yeah.
Vampires that aren't, our typical type of vampire that we would be thinking of. They're human-sized bats, werewolves.
Yeah.
We've got orcs and fish people also in this world. There's
a Cthulhu type creature.
Yeah, there
which
is.
I was like about.
Yeah, he was actually kind of based off Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean, because he had like the technical voice.
Yeah.
I essentially just put him in because I wanted to put in a scene where someone was using their tentacle to drink a beer, like because I think that's what they would do. Like, they wouldn't bother using their hands.
It got a big smile out of me when I saw him. I was like, I like him.
It's kind of why I wanted to do the fantasy work, because I felt you could really get kind of creative with the characters. Like, like even like there's a scene where like there's an imp that's like selling like bootleg things out of its car, and then the car like leaps onto the roof to get into the car instead of just So
I like went back through and was looking back at all the characters, like all the background fantasy people. I was like, this is great. You really thought it through.
It was just kind of fun. Like I love like fantasy stories and stuff like that. So I just thought it's just kind of, you never really see them in a modern setting too much. So I just wanted to kind of show them as being like a bouncer at a nightclub or whatever, just living their lives. People just think that a guy with a bull head, like it's just normal to them because that's the world that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
So was there any design in these characters that was to try to make them distinct from the humans, or was it really to try to make them more actually similar to the humans and
I think like
normal life?
I think it was to make them kind of just fit like into the society. Like it made sense to make a fantasy world, because if there's going to be like this shadowy shape-shifting monster, there's no reason why it wouldn't like also have all these other things in them. But it depends. Like, it's more like the villains, like the monster, like as you said, the vampires are kind of freakish, like bat monsters. That was actually based off an American Vampire, like the first, I think in the second volume of American Vampire, the first generation vampire is shown to be kind of just like a big bat. And I always thought that was kind of cool. And that's why they actually give them the name Vampire, because there is as I said, I'm working on a follow-up where there will be a vampire, and it will just be like a regular vampire, like as a human.
Oh wow! Okay.
So there's like a difference between them. But yeah, I just wanted them to fit in, but to also kind of stand out in a way that these like supporting characters, which it just wouldn't all just look kind of the same. It'd be these kind of background characters, at least, to kind of just stand out a little bit, be a little memorable.
It felt very a la BoJack a little bit to me.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because they have all that as well.
Which is personally one of my favorites, so I had no qualms about it.
I just it was more Hugo that would be kind of like it was his idea to get the imp to like leap onto the roof. So it was him that was kind of like, it was mostly him that was like, well, if we're gonna have them fit in, we'll make them do like little things that kind of like, oh yeah, that's not actually a human. That's a different beast altogether.
Fun.
We got some compliments for the hat.
Yeah, I found it there the other day, and I just decided I'm gonna wear it on the. I wasn't gonna, and then I remembered Childish Gambino wore a hat like this during interviews, so I was like,
"That's awesome."
I'm gonna compare myself to him.
Perfect. Now, is it cold there at all, or is it hot there right now?
It was actually it was like heavily raining today.
Wow.
And it hasn't all week. It hasn't rained at all.
Oh, love a good rainy day.
They were saying it was going to rain every day, but it never was. So people were thinking that like the weather people were trying to get us to not go out and drink. But it was really
for the Irish.
Yeah. But it was really rainy today. Yeah, so it was weird. But it's not. I wouldn't say it's cold. It's just a comfy hat.
It's a good hat. I like it. So you mentioned that you were doing the spin-off story.
Yes.
And, you know, given that you've had the massive success of this novel already and you announced that you're doing single issues, can you tell us anything about like where it's going and, you know, what might be in these single
Yeah.
issue
So
spin-offs
like
without spoiling the main?
people are always like, it's, you know, it creates this world of these big characters, but it just sticks to a singular story of two detectives hunting down a monster. So I kind of wanted to like show the rest of the world and show kind of other monsters and show kind of the day to day of like what two detectives would actually be doing. Like they might get called to like just, you know, to deal with like a certain monster, but it might not be a dangerous monster. There might be a certain way that they can kind of, you know, get rid of it. Like that's what's so cool about like Japanese like folklore. They have like so many like odd little like monsters like that. The way you get rid of them, it's not through fighting at all. You just have to do like a really strange like routine to get rid of them.
Okay.
So it's kind of like that. It'll be two new detectives. And it's a couple of years after Osaka Mime happens. Like there will be characters that'll come back, and there will still be mimes in it because, you know, that's kind of the brand.
Will there be any references to what happens in Osaka Mime to like the?
Yeah, like small little nods.
Guess?
Like there is like, yeah, without like spoiling what happens in either book, like there will be little nods where you're like, if you have read one, I want it to be a thing where you don't have to read Osaka Mime to be able to read it, but if you did read it, you'd be like, oh, there's a little nod or whatever,
a little nugget for you.
Yeah, but yeah, it just follows two. It'll follow two detectives, and it's kind of a similar overarching story where there's a threat that they're trying to take down, but there'll be issues where they have to deal with certain monsters, different monsters and stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll be.
Are we looking at?
Be enjoyable.
Are we looking at books the same size as Osaka Mime, or like significantly smaller?
No, it'd be single issues. Yeah, it'd be single issues. It'll be about 24 pages.
Nice.
It'll be about like, I think there's 5 issues that we're going for. There was 6 originally, but then one of them was just like, it was too. It was a fully filler like issue. Like it was good, like, and I enjoyed what it was, but I was kind of like, it'll take kind of the sting out of the story. So we just kind of, and 5 is kind of cleaner than 6 anyway.
Yeah,
just a solid 5 just works better.
Do you know if you guys are going to try and collect them in a trade at the end?
Hopefully, I think that'll kind of it'll be Behemoth's decision, I think. But they usually like to put things that do a trade at the end.
Yeah, Nathan's a fan of trades.
Yeah, he likes them. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of them as well. But
I like a nice, neat, tidy little.
Yeah, I love trades. But like I know that most people really enjoy single issues, so like I'm not gonna pick my favoritism over it. Like I'm gonna do what people want. Plus, this works better more as single issues kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of the difference, this one is a graphic novel collected, one straight story verse, and then you're gonna be doing a little bit different thing here.
Yeah,
writing up the single issues. Do you have a preference on the writing there, or?
I do prefer to like just do the one long story because I do feel you kind of fall into the trap with single issues where you have to end it on like a big like moment, which is fine. But some places don't do it either. But I do prefer that. But it just depends on the story. I'm enjoying. Like I've only started on the first issue, but I've planned the entire story out, and I've enjoyed doing that for the 5 issues. So yeah, I do enjoy writing just the full script, but it is nice to kind of think you can just do the 24 pages and then kind of leave that for a bit and take a bit of a break and then come back and do the other 24 and move on.
Any chance we'll get a prequel series about the detective in his early days, his youth as a? Yeah,
I did think of that. Like there is a lot of stuff because like obviously there's just nods to things that have happened through his life. So yeah, definitely. Look, like I love like I have loads of ideas for stories, but I'm the most passionate about this. So it's something that I will continue to come back to. And the one thing that I like about comics is you see people leave a project for like a couple of years and then they just decide they want to do another story, and people are just as excited as they were like years before. So yeah, I will come back, and there's other like there'll be other like kind of spin-offs hopefully.
Nice, very exciting.
So since we already said this earlier that the graphic novel sold out, is there going to be a second printing? And if so, do you know when that's planned for?
So I don't know how much I can say, so I'll try to.
Okay.
I know I was told that they do want to do another.
Nathan, cover your ears.
Yeah, they do want to do another. They do want to do another printing. If it was like they were planning to do one, but I just haven't heard. Like initially, was just told we will do one. I just haven't heard anything since. So I don't want to tie their hands by saying it's confirmed. But it is something that I think it is something they would like to do, and so yeah, there hopefully will be another one.
That's really cool.
Because I think there is kind of demand for it, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really hear that graphic novels have sold out, very, very frequently, really.
Yeah, I got a message from Nate, and it was like, "Your fucking book, man." And I was just like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "I fucking probably sold like 100 copies or something," and he was like, "Sold out, sold out." Like he was like, well over the average of what like even an image graphic novel like sells. Like so,
yeah,
it was pretty cool. People really enjoy it. Seem to be excited about it. So yeah, hopefully we can get a second printer now. That'd be cool.
Definitely, and that'll help more people get a copy
eyes on it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I do still have people like messaging me and they're like, "How can I get a copy or whatever?" And I was like, "You'll only be able to get a digital one for now."
Yeah, hope your store has them.
Yeah,
ordered enough.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've had a few people being like, "My store didn't order any," and I was like, "Oh, Comixology then is where you're gonna have to go."
Yeah. Oh, and if you remember the guy that was on the FOC show. Lou, he's an LCS owner. I know he ordered some, and I know some of the people in the chat know them. So maybe hit him up, see if he's got any left.
Yeah, he said he ordered a few in, so hopefully he might have a few left.
Yeah, I'm checking, see on my pool box. I know I ordered one. I got one from my LCS, and I got one. Actually, I think two coming from Lou.
Oh, nice.
I think that's what I did. I was just double checking it.
He's like, wait, let me check.
Now I don't even see what happened to my pool box. Man. I don't know. The diamond pool box.
I don't know what's going on.
Does some weird things. I know I put it in with him. The intent was to give one away, but now I might have to wait till I get confirmation.
To be sure. Someone give one away that can't be given away.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. We will probably be giving one away once I get
Jason says that Midtown still has some.
Oh, that's what I was also trying to check, but it's spinning over here for some reason. But there we go. Let me pull that up and drop the link in the chat for everybody. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I know both Big Bang and Forbidden Planet have them in Dublin, so any Irish people, that's where you can go. There
are actually a couple of Irish fans of our show.
Oh, cool. Yeah, both those are two great stores. And we're out of lockdown on Monday, so shops are back open. You'll be able to go in on Wednesday, you'll be able to go in and pick it up yourself.
That's a good feeling.
Here we go. Yeah. How about this? I'm just going to order one from Midtown
and give that away.
And I'll give it away.
And when we get two more, you'll give those away.
So stay tuned, everybody. At the end, we'll give out a copy. I just have to figure out how to sign in on Midtown right now. But we'll keep going with the questions while I do that.
No problem.
So I know you've mentioned before that you were really influenced by Asian folklore and stuff like that for your monsters. Who influences your writing style?
I'm not really too sure. Like, cause like my favorite writer is Jeff Lemire, but I don't really know if I follow his style. Yeah, I know he's
have
pretty
some good scary stories.
Yeah, he's like the worst person to have as your favorite writer because he puts out something like every week, and it's just impossible. Like I've not like people. It's like you haven't read everything by your favorite writer. It's like it's impossible to read everything. But like I love his work. Obviously like Stephen King for horror as well. Actually, I haven't read a lot of Stephen King books, weirdly, but like I like the ones I have read, I've loved. Yeah, I'm not too sure with like who I would say that like it's like I'm just more inspired by kind of like creative people. Like I just like take inspiration from their creativity.
Get that.
Like I love like I love the raid movies, and I just love how like creative they get with like their fight scenes and stuff like that. So I like Garrett Evans would definitely be someone that like anytime he does anything, I'll check it out. Like and I really kind of almost try to do his style of action in a comic, which is a little different to do it like. But yeah, no, I love like just directors as well, like Denis Villeneuve.
Oh yes.
Like I love
So
like Blade
excited
Runner.
For Dune.
Yeah, I can't wait for
So
that. I got really into him in college. Like I watched like his French Canadian movies that he made as well, like Polytechnique and stuff like that. Yeah, so just like creative people, like even like just in music, like I just love like albums that are kind of like stories, like just one long like story. Like Good Kid, Mad City is like
any soundtrack you recommend we listen to while we read Osaka Mime?
There is a soundtrack made for Osaka Mime.
There's a cassette, right?
There's a cassette on the Behemoth website. Yeah, that I think Nathan put together. It's like kind of like synthwave and stuff like that. So, like synthwave,
well, now I gotta go reread the book.
Tokyo City Pop. I guess you would listen to some of that stuff. That was kind of stuff. I listened to a lot. Like, yeah, I listened to I'd never listened to him before, but I listened to the new Code Orange album when I wrote it a bit, like when I was doing like edits and stuff like that of it as well.
Nice.
Not think when I wrote it because the album wasn't even out, but when I write, like I'll listen to stuff like that. But I usually create different playlists depending on what the mood is. Like I just have like a horror playlist, and it's just weird, kind of. It's not even really like it's not. There's no singing. There's just kind of weird ambient music.
Yeah.
Like, I think like clipping.
No, I go and I just listen to like instrumentals when I'm trying to read. Yeah. Otherwise, I like focus on the words.
Yeah, my friend got me into like Godspeed You Black Emperor, like, and they just do like weird, like real ambient, like 20-minute long songs. That some of it, like 5 minutes of it, is just like a car on fire and stuff like that. It's really good when you're trying to get into a weird kind of sense of mind. Like,
nice.
That is amazing.
Oh man! All right, I got it.
You got it.
I got Midtown to work.
It can be given away now.
Yeah, we got a couple more questions, and then we'll do that giveaway for everyone in the chat who wants to participate. I guess we can say think of a question maybe to ask the chat for whoever answers it will win the book.
Oh damn!
Is this? I'm assuming some sort of music. Not sure.
I'm not sure. That probably is. I would imagine so.
It sounds like that might be
some strange song. I'll definitely check that out. I mostly listen to hip hop, but then some days I just like to listen to very weird music.
Be honest.
Just anything strange.
Are you a Swiftie?
No. I'm more of a Kanye fan. Me and Kevin from Happy Tank chat about Kanye all the time.
I miss the old Kanye.
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Oh, here, weird horror music.
Weird horror music.
Well, I'll check that out. So I'll add that to my weird horror playlist.
Nice. So, are there any books that you're reading right now? Any comics that you're really enjoying?
Yeah, what am I reading right now? It's like I'm reading like books kind of because I'm trying to write some novels as well and stuff. I'm trying to plan them, so I've been kind of reading books to kind of help with that. But what comics have I been reading recently? I was actually reading Scarant Hood by Nick Roach, who's also Irish. Like yeah, it's really good. Like it's really Irish. I think like it's exactly like for anyone that's like has maybe watched like an Irish movie made by an American person, like and they're like, is that how Irish people actually are? It's like, no, exactly how they are in Scarant Hood is how they are. Yeah, so I
need to read Scarant Hood.
Yeah, it's really good. Like it's like Ghostbusters, but like Irish parents. I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
The way it ends is just
fantastic.
So good.
Yeah, it's great. I think there's a trade coming out, or maybe there already is a trade out.
I think it's 4 issues.
Yeah, 4
4 or
issues.
5. I think it's 4 or 5. Yeah, I read. I started reading Gideon Falls as well. I read the first like volume of
I
that.
just read the first trade of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I remember like the first like 10 pages. I was like, do I like this? And then it just like hit, like it just like gets creepy like immediately. And I was like, Jesus, I love this.
Yeah.
I bought it from like Big Bang in Dublin, and I didn't notice that like there was just wrapping on it. I didn't know why there was wrapping on it, and I opened it up, and it was like there's like a print inside it that's actually signed by Jeff. So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was reading that, and then I just have so much stuff that I'm trying to get through. I was reading Bitch Planet as well, which I loved.
I've heard that's really good.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like I need to get a second volume of that as well. That's why I'm actually getting annoyed when I'm reading the first volumes of things and then being like, oh, I love this. I need to buy more stuff.
I had to stop buying first volumes because I'm reading too many things.
Yeah, I'm going through the entire 6 volumes of Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol, so I'm on the 3rd volume of that. So
nice.
That's been pretty great as well. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff.
I've been trekking my way through Saga.
Yeah,
Saga's great as well. I'm on the 3rd volume of that as well.
Saga, and then I started. I read Wicked and Divine Volume 1.
Yeah, I've been trekking through that slowly.
I've got like a ridiculous amount of like. There's this place in the UK. It's called Zavi. They own GameStop, and I don't know. They must have had some deal with like DC that they would like give away some of their volumes and stuff. Because they did a thing where you could buy 10 volumes of like books. There was only a few that they had to choose from. You get 10 of them for like €20 or something. It was like I got 20 books obviously. So a lot of them are like part 1 and like, it's like Kingdom Come part 1 and part 2. It's like they split them up. But I've got all those and I got to get through all those as well. Like they came in a fucking huge box.
That's crazy good deal though. Can't pass that up.
Yeah, it's insane. Like you buy 9 of them, it was like €100. But then you stick the 10th one in there, it was just €20 immediately.
Nice.
Worth it. Definitely worth it.
Yeah.
With what you're saying, Ireland's opening back up a little bit. America, we're sort of opening back up a lot more. Probably too soon, but whatever. We're doing it.
It's fine.
Any plans later in the year to head to cons in Europe or America?
I am going to tabling at Top Bubble in Yorkshire, in England, which is in November. I think that'll be the only con I'll probably go to this year.
Yeah.
Just because I'm going to be going away just on like personal things because you haven't been able to go away for so long. But next year, I'd love to. Yeah, next year I'd love to go to some cons. I'd love to go to a con in America for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure which one, but probably one of the bigger ones, just to make it kind of worthwhile. But that's definitely the plan. Is next year to try to get to one of the conventions anyway.
Nice.
It just seems to be the thing that everyone says you just have to do. You just have to be around all the other creators.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward to them coming back. I'm actually going to one with this guy here next weekend.
Nice.
We're heading over to one in Pensacola, Florida.
Oh wow!
Check it out.
Nice.
There's not like it doesn't seem like it's going to be too huge either. So Yeah,
it seems some people are still keeping themselves away.
Able to get some good deals.
Yeah,
definitely.
Still looking for.
I've seen that is that still going ahead? There's like a yacht trip, and it's like a comic convention on a yacht or something like that. It's like on a ferry.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought I seen something like that. It's like
never.
I don't know. I can't remember what it was. It was. I just remember. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I feel like I seen it. It was like a big ferry that was going to be going like a cruise.
Are you sure this isn't like a dream that you had?
Yeah, possibly. But I thought I seen people giving out about it online. So
Nice.
It seems like a good idea, but not right now. It seems like something we could have done a couple of years ago or something, maybe.
Maybe in a year or two.
Yeah, in a couple of years, count me in,
Yeah, absolutely.
Not really looking to get on boats right now.
All right, no. Don't want to be on a thing that I can't leave.
Right. So let's go ahead and do the giveaway for the book. If you don't, do you have a question? If not, we can do some sort of like guess the number kind of thing.
I'm trying to think of a question. The thing is, like, I want to think of a question that was like related to it, like a behemoth question or something. But I feel like I would get it wrong then, and then they'd be like, "No, this was the right answer." Like I was going to be like, "What was Behemoth's first published book?" But now that I'm thinking of it, I'm like, "Is the one I'm thinking of even the correct one?"
I think. Hold on. I think I got this.
If you can look it up, because I'm not sure.
He's gonna put it in the private chat and see if it's the same one that you're thinking of.
Actually, I know where to find it. I think it's this though.
You see, I was thinking of it being this because it was like a graphic novel. I just remember owning it. Which is why it wasn't as big. Like it was a pretty small book. But I can't remember which one came first. So I don't like. Plus, people could probably just Google it as well. So maybe they just take a random number is probably the best way to do it.
Weird. Okay, they've like where I was gonna look that listed those. It's
I was like, I can't find it.
Yeah,
because it lists this one as the first one.
But yeah, that actually might be it. Actually, now that I'm thinking, if they both came out around the same time.
I don't even know what that one is, actually.
You could start a controversy here, though, because it could be either of these three, and then someone who gets it right, who actually got it right, doesn't get the book. So maybe the number is the best way to do it. This guy will
probably know. He was reading Behemoth pretty early on. Yeah, we can go ahead and drop a number then, just in case.
Yeah.
It's one of those three that we dropped in the chat.
Yeah.
Let's, what do we say, 1 through 50?
Yeah, sure.
If you want to pick a number, or you want me to throw one in the private chat?
Yeah, sure. I'll pick a random number.
They might know how I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So Wikipedia has an answer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're not using it, so you can give the answer if you'd like.
Wikipedia says it's blackout.
Okay, well then it must be that.
That's where I was looking, was Wikipedia.
Okay.
It used to list Osiris Path and the Gatherer on Wikipedia, but it's not on there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could
should I say the number out, or do you just want it in the private chat?
It's in the private chat, yeah.
Yeah, I see it in the private chat. So I'm going to drop a line, and then beyond that line, go ahead and drop some numbers in the chat, and whichever one gets it first will win a copy of Osaka Mime.
You're going to give them a range, 1 to...
1 to 50.
Cool.
Yeah. Go ahead.
See who gets
Although
it.
I know we've got a couple people who've already bought the book. So
never have too many. It's sold out, so you can sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few
God, it's going to jump now.
So 1 through 50.
Who's going to get it?
God.
Yeah, 215 might be a bit off.
I have some very
serial
close
number.
ones.
Yeah, some real close.
I think that might be his social security number. Ooh, so far nobody's gotten it yet. And
some people get close.
6543221.
8675309.
I'm starting to forget what I even wrote. Okay,
I remember what you wrote.
I got it in here. Nobody has gotten it, man.
You guys are bad at guessing numbers.
11D12.
And what's funny is that was followed by 12.
Yeah.
11 plus.
It's crazy that they've said so many numbers and still not got it. I feel like there's been 50 comments.
It's going to get there because he was just typing every number. So
yeah, he'll eventually get it. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
There
we go.
29. Woo.
That's insane.
Hey, it's one way to do it.
That was awesome, though.
Yeah.
Pretty entertaining.
It really just went that.
It's my new strategy for their 750 tonight.
Yeah, and they're doing a show tonight, giving away stuff themselves. So
they can use that.
Yeah, if he's already got it on order, then he can pass it on and give it out.
Just keep passing it on through giveaways until eventually someone gets it.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Osaka Mime.
So hit me up, Sith, and let me know if you want me to send it to you when I get it, or to if you want to pass it on also. That's funny because I don't even know what my
Is it him on a broomstick?
Right. Right. I like how the numbers are still rolling in.
Yep.
Sith got it with 29.
You
Oh,
keep guessing
sweet.
if you
Hell
like
yeah.
them.
Awesome. Perfect then.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah, Sith.
Picked it up.
I got you. I know you're pretty on top of ordering these books too, so wasn't sure. Awesome.
And
So yeah,
that's
once
how
I
you
get it in,
get
I'll
that.
send that over to you, Seth. Yeah,
Congratulations.
they're the late night show
Yeah.
originally that we were gonna do the interview on, but this
Yeah.
you would have been
A big
what
old
4
time
a.m. over
difference.
there?
It would have been like 3 or 4 a.m. Yeah, I was just gonna stay up and watch the UFC and just be like, okay, now I can do it.
There.
Awesome.
Thanks, Sith.
Awesome, Seth.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, they do some indie spotlights on the Spine Tech
Mhm.
show, and
For the
do a-
hardy
nice.
people who can keep up with them.
You
yeah,
got a Star Wars name. The first like writing thing I ever did is I used to write for a Star Wars blog back in college.
Nice.
It wasn't
Oh,
mine. I was just someone else's blog, but you did like a monthly opinion piece. I was
On
how
the
I cut my
movies or the
teeth in writing.
comics?
It was just mostly about anything. Like some of it was even theories. Like I think one of the blogs I wrote was like, how would have Star Wars turned out if Obi-Wan had have joined Count Dooku? Because I think in the second movie he like offers him to join him or
Yeah.
something.
yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, that'd have been a pretty cool what if story. Marvel hired me to write that what if story.
Yeah, that's actually it's funny
Yeah,
because we
you
have
did.
some guys in the UK that we know. Actually, one of them's named Andy.
Oh, nice.
Although he might actually, I can't remember if he's over in Ireland or Northern Ireland. They're all like someone's in Ireland, someone's in the couple are in the UK, someone's in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, there is someone that's from Northern Ireland because I remember them following me on Instagram when I followed them back.
That's probably him.
Nice.
Perpetual Comics, I think.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, I think
Yep,
he's Northern
that's
Ireland.
Andy. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
so
We shared a
he's
name.
hopped on that show at 3 a.m. Pacific, which then he's waking up. It's like 8 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
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 I got a message the other day by Soda and Telepaths. They're like in Australia, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just looking for a creator to jump on if you're free." I think I would have had to get up at like 7 a.m. done it, and then it was just because during the day I was just like, "Oh, I have work at like 9." I just I need my sleep. I will do them though. I don't mind getting up early to do them, but on a weekend maybe.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. You got a little bit more time. Take a nap in the middle of the day and
Yeah.
do all that. Do you have anything else coming up? Any other projects that you're thinking about? You said you're working on writing some books.
Yeah, I'm writing on a book right now. It's called The Last American Musician, and it's
Ooh.
about it's kind of like when I started writing it, I was like, oh wow, this is like I didn't sit down and think this is going to be inspired by this, but it would be kind of inspired by kind of like Fallout New Vegas in the sense that like
Yeah, that's dope.
Nice.
kind of like
Love New
kind of
Vegas.
like a western in a post-apocalyptic way. So that's kind of
Nice.
I'm hooked on
it's
it.
kind of it. It's a story of like America has another civil war, and then like the celebrities and the rich people are like, well, we're not staying here, so they leave, and then it kind of becomes more of a post-apocalyptic way. And the reason he's the musician is because people trade in media. They like trade each other like movie, like
Yeah.
so he's a bounty hunter who'll do jobs for like music albums and stuff like that.
Nice.
Okay.
So it's just a thing like that where he gets a big job where he has to like bring a girl from one side of America to the other side. It's just kind of a story that follows that.
I'm down.
The worst thing
I'm in
is
it. Oh no.
I think he just froze. We'll give him a second
Well,
for the internet to reconnect.
I thought that was me.
No, not this time. He is
For once, it is not my wheel of death.
right.
so
There
like
he
it was just like
You're back.
it was just, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, my internet went there for a sec.
Usually,
No
it's
worries.
me having that problem.
Yeah, no, it was me this time.
Gotta share
I'm
the
the
internet.
bad internet winner. Yeah, I'm the bad internet winner this time. Yeah, so I'm
No
working on
worries.
that. I'm like halfway through that, so I don't know. Like it's a little longer to write a book than write comics, but then I'm working on the follow up, which is just called Osaka SPD. And then I do have other ideas, but just kind of they're just like I'm just trying to focus on those two projects for the time being. Like I felt I could take like a comic and a book on side by side, because if you're not in the mood to write one, you can sit down and write the other one and stuff like that. But other than that, I just wouldn't have the time to do anything else. Like,
gives you two separate things for your mind to
yeah, exactly.
be
Like
thinking
because
about.
I feel I have to be in a really good state of mind to like write the prose, like to write the book stuff. But I think like even when I'm like in a bad mood, I can write comics, like because it's just I just kind of feel more natural to kind of the script right inside of it, like.
Nice.
Because all you have to you just need to like you can just draw it out in front of you how you want the page to look and stuff. So it's a little. But if you can't think of words that you want to write in a book, it like just really frustrates you. Like,
and you're sitting there and you're like, crap, what am I trying to say?
So it's nice to have the both of them to kind of jump between.
You feel like that helps prevent like writer's block kind of stuff happening?
Yeah, definitely. Like the book stuff, like the best stuff, like was when I'll go for a walk and listen to music and think of things, and I need to come home and write them. But like as well, yeah. Like if I do feel like I'm being writer's block with the book, I know that I can sit down and write the comic and like
nice.
Then I feel like I didn't waste a day. Then I did some writing, like even if it's only like I think like that happened the other day. I wrote like 4 pages of the comic. It was only 4 pages. Like it took me a long time to write them, but it's better than just not doing anything.
Right,
yeah, get something done.
Yeah, perfect.
That's
awesome. So down below, I have the links to your Instagram and Twitter for people to find you on social media. I have the link to
the 2 best places.
Nice. The Behemoth website, where it would have been where you could buy Osaka Mime, but it's sold out on their website.
I think you can buy the digital version. I think you can buy the digital version still.
Keep an eye out for the second printing.
Yeah, keep an eye out for potential second printing.
Look, as I said, I don't want to commit to anything, but I think the plan is
to have your friends to check their local shops for you if yours don't have it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Know your friends.
Midtown currently has it, so if you're interested in buying it, go on over to Midtown's website, pick it up there, get your hands on it one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason's pretty excited.
It's a very good book.
Yeah. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Lewis.
Have fun with the family.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks everybody in the chat for listening in, and those that are getting ready to go buy it or already have bought it. That's awesome. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the chat. It was nice. Thanks to anyone that's gone out and bought the book. It's been amazing. The support's been great. Like,
can't wait to get a physical copy.
Yeah. As I said, like I didn't expect it. Like it sold out. Like I didn't expect to sell anything near that. Like, so that's a great feeling. And thanks to anyone who like is interested in getting the book at all. And hopefully it lives up to expectations.
Absolutely.
Definitely lived up to mine.
Yeah, and if you guys want to see, I did do a advanced review on the channel, so go find that too if you want to see, I guess, my full thoughts on it. I know it. You saw them. It was for me. It was 10 out of 10. Like
I think I was like making like a cup of tea, like watching it. I was like, yes.
And it's long, but as you read through it, like you're just going. You don't want to put it down.
Yeah,
at least I didn't.
I've read through it so many times because I've had to look through it like when it was being made and stuff. So I've taken a huge break from it because I was like, I'm just going to leave like a month where I just don't, because I have that digital like just copy. I'm just not going to look at it for like a month because I just want to see what it's like, just kind of like physically and stuff. So I think it was a nice review. It's done well. If you like it, review it on Goodreads because that always helps.
Got a good.
Got like Yeah,
pull up
good.
Goodreads right now.
Yeah, I think my I think my mom made a Goodreads account just to review it.
Aw.
Yes,
Give me like
Mom.
give me like a 2-star review or something. Just like a terrible book.
1 star.
My
What
son
is
can do
this?
better than this.
Yeah, it's like my granny is like, oh, when can I read it? And she's like a really religious person, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
you can't, Grandma.
you don't want to read this book at all.
No.
Like
No,
shows
Nana, no.
Satanists in a good light, and everything
Right.
makes them out to be nice people.
Oh man.
Uh,
But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with us, chatting, talking about Osaka Mime, and we're looking forward to the release on Wednesday.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.